everybody, welcome to Effortless. I am Spigel. With me is Piddle.
Hello, everybody.
We're so excited to bring you this very special Effortless. I've been teasing this forever on Twitter, at SpiegelE on Twitter. You can follow me. This is a special Effortless because we are actually combining it where this is a crossover show with Peter from Groovy.com. Everyone say hello to Peter.
Hi, everybody. You gotta love that cross-branding.
Yeah, so this is actually a cross-promotion. We've officially sold out, and we are crossing Effortless with Grouvcast today. Being that we are all of Sound, Mind, and Backlog, I felt that this was an appropriate crossover. So here we are. You want to get the greetings out of the way? Say hi, shake hands, you know?
Yeah. No, it's exciting.
Hi, Peter.
Hi,
Nice
Piddle.
to meet you.
You too.
Okay.
So how's that backlog doing?
It's growing. It's growing every week.
I'm curious, what is the rate of your backlog? Like, you've never really talked about your backlog on any of the shows that we've ever done.
No.
What does your backlog look like? Everyone knows me and Piddle.
So mine used to grow a lot faster back in the day. It would just be anytime I'd see a deal on Cheap Ass Gamer or something like that, it would be like, oh, I gotta get that or whatever, and it would grow by a few games a week. It seemed like, or I'd pick up a bundle on Steam or something here and there, and I'm a lot tamer these days now. I think on Groovy I have something in the thousand game range. Is that what I have?
Oh my God.
I'd have to.
Wow.
So you are the king of backlogs.
I don't know if I feel like thankful or inadequate.
And the funny part is, ever since I've started Groovy, I'm nowhere near the top. So I don't feel all that bad about how many games I have.
So real quick, what is Groovy? Tell us a little bit about Groovy.com and what you do there.
So Groovy, it's spelled funky, Grouvee. I don't know why I picked that, but it's stuck and I can't change it at this point. But it's a backlog tracking site where you can get in there and catalog your games on virtual shelves, essentially. You have a backlog, a played shelf, a playing shelf, or a wish list is what you start with, and then you can create whatever shelves you want and categorize them however you want. We use Giant Bomb's data right now to do this with. I don't know if you've ever heard of the website Goodreads. That's how I've started it. Basically, it was like I wanted a Goodreads for video games. Like Goodreads is a book site, a book cataloging site.
Yeah. Who reads
right.
books anymore anyway?
Exactly. Listen.
So I did want to mention for those of you who are listening to this show from Groovy, Piddle and I are from the ZB Network on YouTube. We do our own show over there called Effortless.
Yes,
and
we
there's
do.
a bunch of other shows too. So go check those out. And we're kind of hoping to maybe not merge it, but just kind of bridge the gap between the two. I think it'd be really cool to have to be on board with Groovy because I really like your site, Peter.
Oh, thank you.
And I use it a lot myself. And all you guys out there with backlogs not nearly as big as mine or Peter's or Piddle's even, go check it out anyway because it's I use it actually a lot for my wish list. I keep my wish list on there and I print it out for my wife and I make her go buy my games so that I don't get carried away.
Nice.
That's what I do.
That's
now.
a good idea.
So, yeah.
I'm actually thinking it'd be really nice to have a metric showing your buying habits and when, so you could have like a graph of all the dates that you buy games.
Ooh, that would
and
be
what you buy. Add it, Peter.
I remember a while back I tried to like catalog like what day I bought like every game that I bought, and it got too complicated because I'm like I can't remember like if I bought Super Mario Sunshine or whatever on launch day.
right.
But
No, that would be tough. At least a good chunk of mine have come from, Amazon or something. I could probably find a lot of the dates, but yeah, that would be interesting to see that.
I'm curious. One more question while we're doing the interrogation style thing. When did you start like actually actively collecting games instead of just buying them and like playing them?
Oh no.
Oh, that's a good question actually. You know what? I think I can kind of pinpoint it actually because I used to be a software engineer for Raytheon, which is a defense contractor, and there was a point in what year was it? I think it was 2011, I think, when I had to go to California for a few months. Actually, I lived in Brea, California for a few months doing I'm from the Midwest, by the way, and
Okay.
So I had to go out there, and at this point I had noticed that like I just started buying all these games, and I had to keep track of what the hell I was trying to play, and so I started up a Word doc or a Google doc or whatever at that point, and I think that was really the point where I decided that was like actually just growing that list was more important than actually crossing things off of that list by finishing it. So like as my brother, because I can remember my brother seeing that list when he came to visit me and making fun of me for, you know, creating this list of games that I was collecting at this point actually and trying to catalog. So that's probably about the point that I decided to start working on Groovy.
Piddle, you said, oh no, like you had an answer to that question that was going to be embarrassing.
Well, I don't think I ever got quite to the point as Peter, but I don't know. Probably when I was 15 or so is when I really started getting into collecting games and just getting whatever I could get my hands on, and people would say, oh, hey, this is like a really good game, and I'm like, I've never heard of it, but then I'd go look for it and buy it, whether I played it or not.
You're distracted by the idea of something being really good. Like no matter what it is, you have to try it.
Yes.
I'm the same exact way. Like I'll never shut down a game just based on what kind of genre it is. I'll just be like, oh, it's good. You know, I'll give it a shot. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, unless it's Call of Duty Advanced Warfare or something I'm just totally uninterested in. But I'll almost never shut a game down just based on genre. And for me, the answer is easy. I started collecting games when I got a job and I had all this expendable income.
Yeah.
Of course, now I have no income, so now I think I'm actually going to work. I'm going to work on my my backlog a little bit. I'm actually really going to dive into it. Maybe take a large chunk out of it. So we'll see. But I was interested because Jess and I talked about the collection thing on the newest episode of the Grouvcast. So I was like, I just want to ask you guys. But I don't know. I don't have a transition.
I'm a little different. I guess I did the collecting thing, and then I sort of hit this point where I was like, you know, I've got way too much, and I've got these games that I'm vaguely interested in, but not really. So I purged a lot of my collection.
Oh, you did the unthinkable thing.
I know. In a way, I regret it, but at the same time, I've become a bit more selective about what I get. It's not so bad. It seems more manageable, and that's the thing, is I don't feel overwhelmed.
I think that's the biggest key for me is when I'm looking at my collection of games. If I feel overwhelmed, I know I need to take a step back because I don't want ever to get to a point where playing games is a chore for me.
Right.
And yeah, so
and that's sort of where I hit it. Like, yeah.
I feel like we've all sort of gotten to that point at this point. But if you're out there and you're collecting, don't let it get that far. Don't let it become a drug addiction.
No, I mean, and don't be afraid to just, you know, if you're done with a game, just put it down. That's the kind. It's taken me a long time to get to that point where it's just like, if I don't like a game, I don't have to finish everything I've started. I mean, I used to be just like that, where it's like I have to finish this game, or okay, I've got this huge list, and I would play a game I don't even like just because it was on my backlog, and that was, I don't know, that got ridiculous. And
yeah, I would do that with like 100% in games. I would force myself to 100%.
Oh man,
because I became obsessed with that, and I was like, nope, not gonna do that. Yeah, I'm not gonna force myself.
I'm glad I never got to that.
Games is there are games that you'll love, and then you'll get like 90% of what's in it, and you'll still love it, but then you feel like you have to get that last 10%, and the last 10% just drags.
Yeah, 100 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
like Banjo-Tooie.
And then you finish the game, and you're just like, I'm never going to touch this game ever again. I hate it.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm running into that. I've talked about this before. I've been playing Final Fantasy X for way too long at this point. The remaster, and I have said I'm going to 100% that game, and I'm regretting it because I'm almost starting to hate that game specifically for it. Because like some of the trophies in that game take 60 hours in themselves to complete, and I'm just like, what the hell am I doing? Why am I doing this?
Yeah, don't you have to like completely fill out this sphere grid, which means you have to get
with everybody
all the you have to even fill out the ones that don't give an upgrade. So
yes, correct. So you have to go replace the empty ones with other spheres, and then you also have to go beat every single monster in the monster hunting thing, and that in itself, you have to capture every monster in the entire game 10 times. That in itself is
Oh
an
man.
insane amount of
Wow.
hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm
So-
trying to think of like if Pokemon did that.
Nothing specifically like that. Although I did eventually catch every Pokemon, and that my friends is like the pinnacle of tedium right there.
Oh, I bet.
So.
It didn't used
Yeah.
to be. Like,
Oh, here we go. Piddle's old man rant about how
Uh-oh.
Pokemon used to be better.
oh.
Everyone duck.
Well, hey, I told you what happened. I got Pokemon Pearl, and I bought the Primus official guide for it, and I'm going through the game like, you know, trying to collect all the Pokemon,
Right,
looking at the guide,
right.
being like, oh man, this Pokemon's cool. I need to get this Pokemon in my final lineup, and I find out that the strategy guide doesn't actually tell you how to collect every Pokemon. It only tells you how to see every Pokemon.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And I'm like, what? Why would I just want to see every Pokemon? No, I want to know how to catch it. So like one of the Pokemon that one of the trainers has, like the Milotic, I think it is.
Yeah.
And you have to get it from a Phoebus or Phoebus or however you pronounce the name. And there's getting that Pokemon is definition of tedium.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I think it took me only about an hour because I was really lucky. But yeah.
Yeah, that was also the point in which I decided, screw Diamond Pearl. I'm never going to play these games ever again, because I spent like 5 hours trying to catch Phoebus and didn't find one, and I was like, I'm done.
God, I love Pokemon. It's so great.
Especially when I found out that after I finally caught it, I was going to have to grind its beauty up to like max level.
Yeah.
And so for anybody who's played Pokemon, you know the struggle.
Yeah, you know about that for sure.
Yeah.
By the way, how can a fish be beautiful? It's like how can? Oh, here we go. It's like how have you ever seen a really good-looking beard? Like most of them don't really look that good. And there's your segue.
Wow.
Wow.
That was beautiful, actually.
That was actually really bad. I mean, it was okay. I give it like a 6 out of 10, maybe.
It was
6 and a
alright.
half.
Like 4 points for creativity, maybe. But anyway, so the next topic is beards, because
You can just
so
talk
this
about
is the one.
catfish. They're
So we
trying
teased-
to grow beards, but they
Yeah.
can't.
Okay. Sure. So we we teased this on the last episode of Effortless. I said I really wanted to talk about it, and Piddle was like, "No, we're out of time." So I'm like, "Okay." So we'll talk about it this week. And so actually, I've been growing the beard, and it's looking a little bit better now. It wasn't looking so hot about a week ago when we did the show. So I'm very pleased. And Peter, you have beard growing experience.
Yes, I have. I've gone multiple months and grown. I can grow a pretty good beard. I don't currently have one. I don't know. It's hot here in the Midwest. I just don't like having one. But yes,
So you think a beard adds to that heat?
it definitely adds to that heat. It helps very much so in the winter.
It's only for the winter months.
correct.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I have noticed that if you want to be a home brewer of beer, or if you own a brewery, you must.
Oh yeah, you need
you
one.
must have a very large, powerful beard. That's
There's a number of professions where I think you're pretty much required to have a beard.
Uh-huh.
Like, lumberjack is an obvious
Right.
one.
Yes.
What else? Anything that requires like physical work, I feel like you need a beard.
right. A lot of times, like
Hockey
a
player.
manly barber will have a good solid beard. A lot of times, I know that sounds like a weird one. I don't. Like I said, brewer. That's all of them here in Indianapolis have those. That's
Piddle
I
is
think
a
if you do
swimmer, so
anything
he.
with dangerous animals, you have to have a beard.
right. Basically, just
Anything.
hunters in general.
Oh
yeah.
yeah, hunters, outdoorsmen, I think.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I have limited
Maybe-
experience in the beard growing business.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're a swimmer, so it's not really conducive to have a beard.
No,
But-
No, they
swimmers
don't- they don't
generally
have- they don't
shave
have-
everything down.
I was about to say they don't have beard caps, do they?
That would be so weird. Now
I've
I'm just
always
imagining
wanted
like
to
ZZ
see-
Top all wearing beard caps.
I've always wanted to see beard caps,
Just go faster.
just to see it. Yeah, but yeah, generally.
Have you
just
ever-
gotta shave it down?
Have you ever had a swimmer that you've coached that like did not want to shave their legs or whatever, for whatever reason?
Plenty of guys don't want to shave their legs.
I mean, do they end up? I mean, they all end up doing it though, right? Because they have to, or do some of them not?
Some of them choose not to.
Really?
But yeah, there have been situations though, like specific situations where I've had athletes or swimmers, and as a coach, I'm telling them like, or they're going for a certain time in order to get a cut to be able to go to a bigger, like more competitive competition. And I'll tell them, yeah, you should shave for this meet, and then they won't. And then I've had a specific incident, like scenario where one kid, he missed the time that he needed to go by 1/100th of a second.
AKA 5 leg hairs.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And,
Oh man.
and like beforehand, I had told him like, you know, you're fighting for every 100th of a second you can get, and of course he misses by 100th of a second. So like the first thing he says after he's done swimming is, "I should have shaved my legs." So sooner or later, they all shave.
So bottom line, kids, shave your legs. Don't grow beards. Unless you can make a good one,
Yeah.
and you're in the wood cutting
And
profession.
let's say if you can grow a good, powerful beard, that's okay. You can do that.
Like Josh from Rush the Fort, he has a really good beard. You know, who else? I don't know. Not many ZBN people have beards. I do now. The jury's kind of still out on whether it's going to be anything more than what it is now, but we'll see. I'm excited. Maybe I'll post a picture.
Well, Spiegel, what do you think of my beard?
Your beard is quite a thing. I don't really know what to make of it because it's unlike any beard I've seen. You look like you could be one of those like it looks like a French beard. It's got like it's kind of twirly almost.
It's really bad, isn't it?
It's not as bad as you were making it out to, because you could grow one, like it was there. It looks totally out of place.
Well, that's
Maybe
because
just
I don't grow any hair like really in the middle of my upper lip, or
Yeah.
like around the sides where you'd have a goatee, or like right below my lower lip. And like I can't connect the mustache to the bottom, so there's just a lot of yeah.
Yeah, it's just a lot of empty space, which does not look good on beards. All right, that's enough. We have other things to talk about. This is going to be a long show as it is, so let's keep moving. I have no segue for this one because it's too big of a topic to even have a segue.
Okay, who has the biggest beard?
Microsoft, Sony, or Nintendo? Well, I mean, okay, so the topic is, I wrote the grand debate. Now, we've never really done this. I mean, we've talked about the merits of like each individual console. We've never like compared them to one another and like talk about the strengths of one versus another. So here we have PS4, Xbox One, Wii U, and PC. And I don't know. I mean, we can talk about what's good. You know, obviously everyone's favorite is the Wii U because it's better than all the other ones.
Exactly.
But
Well, that's it then, right? I mean,
yeah, that's it. I mean, luckily Jess isn't on this show, or she'd just be like going off about why PC is better than everything.
right. Well, I mean that happens when that's all you have.
PC does
too.
have a lot of benefits.
So I just to throw that in there as we're talking about it, like I have all four of these things. I have a good gaming PC. I have an Xbox One, a PS4, and then a Wii U. And the two that I turn on the most, outside of, we're gonna ignore the Vita and the 3DS, which are actually the two correct answers to this.
The two better.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, 3DS, the best console of all time, by the
It's
way.
pretty. Yeah,
It's up
I'm
there.
gonna almost agree with you. But honestly, like the two that I turn on the most are the Wii U and the PC, just because.
I mean, that's not a super surprising answer, right?
Right.
Because PC honestly has a lot of the more definitive versions of certain games, not certain Batman type games, but you know, like GTA 5. Like you'd want to play that on a PC.
Poor Batman.
You know, and Wii U has games that you can't really get anywhere else. So of course you'd be playing that more.
Exactly, and
And as for Xbox One and PS4, and I've said this before, I still feel like they're just almost carbon copies of one another. Like in terms of overall what you can expect from each one. Obviously, PS4 has certain advantages that Xbox One doesn't have, such as install and update times, which Piddle and I talked about at length this morning.
Yes, we did.
God, that is.
Yeah, update times are the worst. And it's part of the industry now, isn't it? Isn't that the worst?
Yeah, I hate it. I mean, it's always been a joke on the PlayStation 3, or now the PlayStation 4. Just every time you turn it on, firmware update. I mean, it's just
PlayStation 3 was bad.
Oh, it was so bad.
But it at least had this point where, I mean, now I like put in a PlayStation 3 game, and inevitably it always says this game needs an update, and I just press circle.
Why are they still updating it?
Yeah.
It's like years down the line.
I press
so
circle
many
and I
of them
just
out
play the
there.
game, because it's just like, you know what? I'm not dealing with an update. I'm done with updates. But then
It's at some point I'd just be like, you know what? You can stop tinkering. It's okay. I don't need that glitch removed or whatever they're doing.
But then Spiegel, like I talked to you this morning about the Xbox One, and
Yes. Tell your story to everybody here.
Essentially this morning I wanted to play my Xbox One. I had like maybe 45 minutes, an hour to play before I had to go somewhere. And I'm like, oh, all right, like 45 minutes, an hour I can play Batman Arkham Knight. So I turn on my Xbox, and I try to start up Arkham Knight, and it says, hey, there's an update. Mm-hmm. And for those who don't know, there's no way to get around those updates on Xbox One unless you disconnect your internet. You just can't get around it. So I mean, I use my Xbox One all the time to stream video from Netflix or Amazon Prime. So it was just like, well, I guess I'm not going to be playing Batman Arkham Knight this morning because it was a 2 GB download.
Ugh, man.
Yeah.
That's another thing that irritates me is all these installs and like the size of these games that need to be installed. Like I looked at the PS4 and the Xbox One when they first came out with 500 gigabytes of memory. And I'm like, holy crap, that's a lot of memory. Like you'll be able to store so many downloadable games on there.
Nope.
And then
do you know how many games I have on my Xbox
like
One?
5, and then you have to buy an external hard drive.
This is exactly true. I think I have Assassin's Creed Unity, Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, which I haven't played like either of them more than an hour because I can't stand either for some reason. Sunset Overdrive, the Master Chief Collection, which by itself I think takes up 100 gigabytes.
That's what I thought.
I'm pretty sure it probably takes up 100 gigabytes just because they have had to release so many patches for that.
Oh man,
that disaster of a game. And then I have Batman Arkham Knight and Titanfall, and I think like 75 gigabytes left.
What are you still doing with Titanfall? Get rid of that. Nobody's playing that anymore.
Actually, there's a decent population. People still play it, at least on Xbox One.
Okay.
No, it's.
But anyway, point being, too many installs, too many downloads of updates and all this garbage, and I don't know. I feel like Nintendo is guilty of the same thing with hardware updates and all this, but I feel like it's not as big of an issue with them because it downloads a lot of the stuff in the background, which PS4 also does. But it seems like, am I correct in saying the Xbox One does not do it in the background at all? You have to just sit there and watch TV or something?
There's a way to do background downloads only if you set your console to not power save mode to the instant on mode, I believe, and then it'll download updates automatically. But if you want to like try and save power, good luck.
And see, you've already lost me because it's too complicated.
And
that's another thing.
The thing is, if I'm sorry, I'm gonna interrupt still, but
no, go ahead.
The power save mode on the Xbox One, you almost need it because if you've ever looked into how much power consumption that takes place with the Xbox One or the PlayStation 4 in their instant on modes, it is like as much as a Wii U when the Wii U is on.
Is there, wow.
So I don't know. I'm trying to be environmentally friendly, I guess.
I'm just trying to save money because the criminals of the electric company are squeezing my wallet dry.
Well, there's only one electric company to go through wherever you are, so.
I charge my 3DS at my job now. And,
Spiegel's ultra conscious of how much he's spending.
I'm so, you know what? The thing about being environmentally friendly now as opposed to like 5 years ago is that it's getting kind of cheap. So now it's like, well, I kind of want to do that instead because it's cheaper. So, yeah.
That is the one downside to the 3DS. It does seem to only last for like 4 or 5 hours whenever of actual playtime.
Yeah. well, you know, the thing about portable consoles is they're really not even being taken on road trips anymore
No.
because all the kids have their little iPhone thingies, you know, and those last for a while. So
Yeah, we talked about that last week.
Honestly, I play my 3DS more at home than I do anywhere else.
Oh, me too. Couch. That's
Yeah.
my couch console, the 3DS and the Vita.
Yeah, they're great couch consoles. You just kick back, relax.
Play a little Zero
Yeah.
Escape.
I do it a lot in bed. That's one of the things I loved about my Wii U when I had a functional gamepad, is I had just enough range where I could play in bed.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, you should get it. You should get that fixed so you can play Splatoon against me in bed, and I can dominate you in bed. Wow, that went a totally different way
This is-
than I wanted it to.
Is Splatoon? Can you play that on the game? Does Splatoon have gamepad support or just gamepad screen support?
I think you do have to use the gamepad to start the game, which is Piddle's big thing with like a lot of these, because he just wants to use. You just want to use the Pro controller and just be done with it, right?
Yeah, essentially.
Like how you can't play Bayonetta 2 because Bayonetta doesn't support the Pro controller to start the game or something, or whatever it was.
Yeah. Yep, the original Bayonetta, you have to start the game through the gamepad. After that, you can play with the Pro controller, but you have to start it with the gamepad, which makes no sense. How does that make sense?
Speaking of the gamepad, we were kind of having this discussion a little bit earlier, Piddle, you and I, when we were talking about what Nintendo could have done right to snag this generation, because as I was saying, I don't feel like Xbox One and PS4 have really done a fantastic job of, you know, of creating this thing that people have to have. They kind of just buy it because it's there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But what could Nintendo have done to do a better job this generation at winning over consumers? And I was thinking, you know, if they hadn't tried to be so darn innovative with that gamepad, I really think they might have not run away with the generation, but they would have been much closer in it, and they might have been beating Xbox One at this point.
I think that's not unreasonable to say, especially since so many games are still between generations. And the Xbox One is fairly underpowered in the grand scheme of things. That
Like Rise of the Tomb Raider could run on Wii U, it could, and you know, and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 could still run on Wii U,
Yeah.
even though that's a game that's coming out this year
so
for Xbox One.
I mean, how much would the Wii U cost right now if the gamepad didn't come with it?
Probably like
150?
$175.
So how much does it cost now? Is it $250?
It's $300, but it comes with 2 games. So
Okay.
if you take those games out of the equation and the gamepad, you're probably looking at like a less than $200 console.
God, that would be a huge deal if they were at that price point versus the
Right, because that's even cheaper than the PS3 brand new right now.
right.
Yeah.
And
And-
it's more powerful than a PS3 right now.
Right. Granted, the PS3 is also 10 years old, but you know. Anyway, I don't know. It's as a big time Nintendo fan, it's frustrating to me to see kind of the weaknesses of the Wii U played out in front of me, and knowing exactly what they could have done differently, but they just didn't do differently for whatever reason. And because it's to tie it back to the original question, what console has, like what are the good points of each console? I feel like the Wii U gets a lot of stuff right that PS4 and Xbox don't. The fact that you can just put in a game and be playing it within less than a minute is a good one.
Yeah, no, that's huge.
I absolutely love that about my Wii U. It's pretty quick to get into a game.
Well, you can't play half your games anyway, though, so it may not be the best.
Hey,
I mean,
I can play Pen. Yeah.
I don't know.
So we spent quite a bit of time.
And I don't want to jump on your transition here, but I actually feel like, to me, the Wii U is sort of felt like a stepping stone, actually, anyways, in technology for what they want to do next. I mean, that's what I personally think that this whole generation's been for them, is figuring out how to make the hybrid console. I mean,
Yeah,
that
I
So
feel
really,
like
Spiegel-
I feel like they've learned a lot of lessons too.
What would you say is the best console?
Well, I mean, again, it's not really a fair comparison at this point, especially because of my bias. But I mean, overall, I would say the Wii U, but it's because there's games on it that I want to play, and ultimately, I think that's what it comes down to. PS4 and Xbox One are going to have very diverse libraries. Wii U is not. It's going to have Nintendo games.
Right. They do not.
But
third parties.
But ultimately, I'm a Nintendo guy. It's so tough to say, you know, in 5 years what my favorite console of the 5 is going to be, or of the 3 is going to be. Because I would say Xbox 360 is my favorite console of last generation when compared to Wii or PS3. But I don't know. So it changed. I don't know. Someone else answer. So you know what? We've been ragging on PS4 and Xbox One a lot already. Someone say some good stuff about them. Someone that's not me. I've been talking a lot too.
I'll go at least for Xbox. The Xbox One at least has some good things going with it, with its backwards compatibility now. At Gamescom, they just announced a ton of new games that are gonna be available through backwards compatibility.
I should go read up on that.
Actually, one of the ironic articles I've read recently pointed out that the Xbox One now with a Rare Replay now has more Nintendo 64 games that you can play on it than the Wii U does. If you don't include like the Wii menu.
I knew where you were going with that. I wanted to hear it come out of your mouth. Because it's so ridiculous to me that Nintendo doesn't want to put Nintendo 64 games on Wii U, but okay, I digress.
So for me, the inconvenience of going to the Wii menu is it doesn't outweigh the convenience of having all those classic games on one console that's hooked up to my television. Like, so for me, the Wii U.
Are you talking about Wii U or Xbox One?
I'm talking about Wii U. But Xbox does have that. Xbox is also, in terms of what Microsoft is trying to do with adding more games, they keep showing more and more first-party content, and I'm really impressed by it. Because
they've certainly done a much better job with first parties this gen than Sony has.
Yeah, they've got. It's a remake, but they've got the Gears of War remastered edition coming out, which you're going to get all the old Gears of War games from the 360 on your Xbox One too if you play it like between a certain time. I think it's like the holiday season. They have Halo 5 coming out. They have Forza Motorsport 6 coming out. They just showed off Crackdown 3, which
you're super hyped about.
I think it's amazing because one of the things that I really wanted the last generation was fully destructible environments. And how many games had that?
Not many.
Like Red Faction Guerrilla.
I was getting ready to say Red Faction's the only one I can think of that was.
Yeah, Red Faction Guerrilla was like the only one. And Red Faction Guerrilla was like you'd go to an area, there'd be like maybe one or two buildings that you could destroy, and then you'd have to go to a completely different area because it was just you can have a lot of content. And with Crackdown 3, they're using the power of the cloud so like you can destroy a whole city essentially.
Did you just take that like straight from Microsoft press release? Using the power of the cloud, you can eliminate an entire city.
I don't know. I that's what they say. I guess I feel like it has to be using the cloud because I just don't understand how it could be running on a Xbox One with the amount of destruction. But all I'm really saying is with the Xbox One, and this is one of the things that I keep telling you, like I'm really impressed that Microsoft finally gets the importance of first-party titles, while Sony is sort of like seems to be moving away from.
They're remaking God of War 3 and The Last of Us Remastered.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's what Sony's doing with its first-party stuff. Oh, and Ratchet and Clank, they're remaking that too.
Yeah, it just feels like they're moving away from like strong first-party titles.
I understand them wanting to give the gamers who never like a lot of people PS4 is their first gaming system. Like that's something I always kind of take for granted. So in that sense, Sony's actually doing a pretty good job of like bringing out quality games that they have never played before. But for me, it doesn't do anything because I've already played all those games, or rather, I own those games and I'm going to play them
Someday.
Yeah, someday. But so is that two answers for Wii U? I thought you'd maybe pick PC, but
I'm in the grand scheme of things. I think it's so hard. I think I have to pick PC just because even though the Wii U is really good with its backwards compatibility, it could be better, could be more convenient. And the PC, because it's just so open, it is the one console or whatever that is fully backwards compatible, but then has a lot of its own exclusives that you can't experience anywhere else, and it has the best version of any other game that you could get.
And of course, it has the indie game scene.
Yeah, and it has Steam sales. So I mean, Steam sales might be the greatest exclusive of all. I think Peter would agree with me on that.
Oh yeah,
I think everyone in the world would agree with you on that once they get into Steam.
And I mean, both PS4 or Sony, I guess, is more. They're kind of getting into that. Sony's been doing a lot of those flash sales with like the pretty good low prices, and especially a lot of their older games like the PS1 catalog and stuff. I mean, they're starting to understand. It's like, hey guys, you gotta start competing with these ridiculous sales that people put on that Steam does. And the one argument I'm going to make on behalf of the PS4, since I don't think anybody said anything good about that necessarily, is it.
I have nothing good to say. So
yeah,
here's the thing. Here's the thing I'm going to give it.
I'm very anti PS4, and I'm sorry if there's a big PS4 fan out there who's just hating me right now. But I'm not going to hide it. I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, PS4 has some good. I don't like the PS4, and I feel like that's okay. And I don't feel like we have to all attack each other for not liking whatever.
See, I don't really like my Xbox in the grand scheme of things, but I do know that the PlayStation 4 is able to install games in like a minute, whereas the Xbox takes like 10 minutes.
Okay, but go ahead,
no,
Peter.
the Xbox's interface, I think, is probably one of the worst user interfaces ever designed. Like the PS4, at least, is fairly simple. It's pretty easy. Like,
I don't even understand what's going on when I look at an Xbox One.
No, it confuses me. I mean, I have, I'm always just like, when I press the B button, I'm just like, I don't know what it's gonna do most of the time, like where it's gonna take me. I guess like the back button. I guess it drives me crazy. I just don't know. I mean, I don't know. I sound like an old man or something.
Hey, you're in the right place, man.
Hey,
this is the old man show.
I'm not going to disagree with Peter, because when I first got my Xbox One, I think for the first week I had no idea what I was doing whenever I tried to like navigate through the interface. And even now, like, I want to do something and I don't know how to do it. It takes me forever to figure it out.
I've had my PC with Windows 8.1 for probably 5 months now, and I still don't really understand what to do on the Windows menu.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it.
It's just as bad. It's just as bad as that.
Only with Xbox, at least there's words on the screen. I open up my Windows menu and I'm like, I have no idea what's that little gear. I don't know what that is. Apparently it's settings. But
so, like I said, the PS4, their interface is much, much, much better. I'm going to give them that. And not that many people care a whole lot, but you're listing all the it really comes down to what exclusives you care about for the most part.
That's what I tell people when they come into my store.
Really does.
And I don't care much about Halo. I don't care much about Forza, which is fine. I mean, or Gears of War. I get that people like those games, especially Gears of War. Like they're decent games, but I'm not gonna go out. I didn't go out and buy the console for that specifically. Now, like the PlayStation 4, the big one that's coming to my head that I was excited as all hell about is Bloodborne, and I'm a huge Souls game guy, and so that's the reason I like that system better, is because it has Bloodborne, and that's. But really, what it comes down to is like, what games do you like? They're both pretty identical systems. If you like more games that are, exclusive to the PS, which there's so few and far between anyways anymore, the exclusives, it's just pick the one you have the most exclusives that you like on and go get that one. I mean, that's normally my recommendation to most people.
So to summarize sort of the argument for each console, Wii U, if you want exclusive, interesting, unique games that you can't find anywhere else. PC, if you want incredible backwards compatibility with great value and a great indie game scene, and, I mean, arguably the best place to play games that you can also get on PS4 and Xbox One.
Mm-hmm.
Or Xbox One / PS4, pick which one has the best exclusives, stick with it, because that's likely, where you're going to play all the games like Batman and Grand Theft Auto. Like, you're not going to have an Xbox One and then buy a PS4 to play Grand Theft Auto and, Fallout 4 or whatever.
One thing that I will throw out there is Wii U and PC also, you don't have to pay to play online.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
And I don't know about you, Peter, but, well, for me, I got my Xbox One just for the Master Chief Collection. And I bought 12 months of Xbox Gold just for the Master Chief Collection.
Oh man, you're missing like. And how many months has it been?
Expecting that I would be able to play the game, and
one of the great tragedies of the 21st century.
I just like whenever I think about it, it just makes me so angry that I'm like, I just spent like whatever $50-$60 for a year membership, and I have used most of that membership time waiting to get into Halo Master Chief games, only to get kicked out.
Oh man!
Actually, that made me think of. That made me actually think of two more arguments for the PS4. Actually, PlayStation Plus is possibly the greatest deal out there for.
Yeah, especially if you can actually get the PlayStation Store to work.
Well, I actually considered getting a PlayStation 4 just because I already had a Vita, I already had a PlayStation 3, and I was like, well, if I get a PlayStation 4 and I get PlayStation Plus, I'm gonna get like 6 free games a month.
Exactly, and then the cross-play with the Vita thing is, or cross-buy with the Vita is. That's a pretty good
It's really
argument.
the only thing keeping the Vita afloat at this point is the fact that it can be used with PS4 because there's no games coming out for it.
Exactly.
Unfortunately.
No, it's awful, but like you said, it's a. I don't know.
Hey, there are indie games for it.
You know, I totally flipped the script on Vita for me because I used to make fun of it all the time because it was so inferior to 3DS in like every way except power. And now it's just like, you know what? It ended up being pretty all right. It's got some good quality games on there. I mean, you know, and I don't know. I felt like I was unfair to the Vita, and I'd like to apologize for that because that was mean of me.
I'm going to do
to
a
hate on the
shameless
Vita so
plug
much.
of one game for the Vita, and that is the Iconoclasts, which is going to come out eventually on it.
How is it a shameless plug? Did you create the game?
I did not, but I just
Okay.
needed. So, Spiegel, have you played this little Zelda fan game called The Legend of Princess?
No. Is it like Fat Princess?
No.
Okay.
No, it's not.
I don't know.
It's like a 2-dimensional Legend of Zelda action game, and it's pretty cool. It's made by one guy. It's for free. You can check it out. It's like konjak.org or .com, I think it is. KONJAK. And he's been working pretty much by himself on a new indie game for PC, and I guess it's going to come to the Vita eventually. And he does some of the best 2D sprite work I've ever seen in my life.
All right.
Yeah.
So, shameless plug.
All right. That was quite shameless. One might even say it was effortless.
Ooh.
Or, never mind.
Perfect.
All right. So, I don't know. I think we've harped on this long enough. What do you I mean, I don't know. How long have we done this? 25 minutes now?
Something like that.
Pretty good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to harp on something else for a little bit?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. We're doing a show, so we could probably.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't have a transition for this one either. Any final thoughts on the grand debate? Basically, we solved nothing.
I don't know.
The only thing we solved was, you've now decided to get this console based on what we just talked about. So
I don't know. Video games are pretty cool. That's
Yeah.
pretty much what I've come down to. I don't know. Just real fast, I just wanted to ask you guys. I'm not stepping on anything. Did anybody watch any of the speed gaming stuff? The awesome games or the summer games done quick this past week?
I wish I had.
Oh,
I didn't watch any of it, but every year I hear about it, and I'm like, that's really cool. I'm going to watch that this year because I love the idea of games being played for charity, and you know, and stuff like that. And I love speedruns too. Like, cause I tried some of the speedrunning tricks in Metroid Prime, and I really enjoyed them. So I don't know why I never get into it, but I very well could have watched it.
I was just curious. I pick and choose like the games I want to. I watched a guy play a Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, and 100%ed it, and you know they do it in like an hour and 45 minutes. But like the precision of movement that these guys do in these games, and I mean it just boggles my mind. I didn't really want to say a whole lot other than it's just like these guys are very impressive to me. I don't know. It just blows my mind how much time and effort these people put into memorizing every trick and everything into these games, and it's awesome to watch.
What were some of the games that you watched them do?
Like I said, Link to the Past was one I watched quite a bit of.
Right.
The last 2 years, I've watched Dark Souls 2. There's a guy, I think his name is like Oginam or something like that. That's his Twitch name or whatever. Like last year, I watched him do it by himself, and playing Dark Souls 2, I'm like, Jesus Christ, how is this guy so good at this? And then this year, him and this other guy, I think his name was Fearful Ferret, they did 2 guys, 1 controller, and played Dark Souls 2 like 100 times better than I play it with 1 controller. That was kind of cool to watch. And I'm trying to think. I watched some of the Chrono Trigger. And last year, actually, one of the fun ones to watch was, I would recommend going to look this one up, as a guy was playing Ocarina of Time blindfolded.
Oh, yeah, I did. I've actually seen that.
Yeah, no, I think he only did the child dungeons on the stream at least, and
still,
yeah,
though.
no, it's
one of the better ones I saw was the Punch Out blindfolded.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that
I've
one
seen
too.
That is pretty awesome.
Yeah,
these people can do that by, hearing alone. That's awesome.
Like, it's not even fair. I can't even play that game with my eyes. I couldn't play that game if I had 4 eyes open.
Right.
Yeah, it made me feel pretty inadequate that he got further in the game blindfolded than I've ever been able to with my eyes open.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, it's just fun to watch, especially a game you have played, a lot. It's fun to watch a guy just destroy it, anyways. And I mean, sometimes I'd flip it on and they'd be playing some random game I've never even heard of, and it's always in Japanese because all speedrunners play games in Japanese because it's faster, I guess.
Right.
And
it's cooler to be Japanese.
Super cool. And
I was playing Splatoon today, and I was really dominating because I got this cool new weapon that I'd never really tried before, and I was just instantly really good with it. And I'm like, I've become what I hate, because this is the weapon that like all the jerks who are really good at the game use, and they're always Japanese, of course. So I'm like, all I'm missing now is a Japanese name, and then I can be just as good as they are. So
you'll have to just make up some symbols.
I don't know. Is that racist? Is that a racist thing to say? It doesn't matter. It's out there.
Not
now.
at all.
No, I think you're good.
All right. Well, you know what? We've been going for a while. I don't want to force anything. Let's just keep. We can keep going down this path if you want. You were mentioning, or since you brought up Speedy Games Done Quick, I always wanted to talk about this on the air, but I never really did. It's sort of a dream of mine, a pipe dream, I guess, is to play games for charity myself. To do one of those things where they just play for hours and hours, and like basically days, without like stopping, except for to go to the bathroom and stuff like that. No breaks, no sleeping. I really want to do that someday. That's one of my dreams.
We did that on Groovy last year.
Really?
Extra Life is kind of the big one that everybody does, and I think we're gonna do it again this year.
Think of a good one.
It's in November.
Backlog
Well, I mean,
for...
do you stream it? I mean, like, I don't know how.
Yeah,
that's the other thing. I have no way of streaming my games, so like I could never.
Well, I mean, I don't know what your internet connection is like, but I mean, you can get. I mean, if you're playing PC games, it's pretty easy to stream using OBS or that open broadcast software. That's free,
right?
And you can stream PC games. Or I have a Elgato capture card, so I was streaming out some PS4 games last year. I don't know. I mean, it's probably pretty boring. It's kind of funny because I probably would only have any more between 5 and 10 people ever watching me play this game. But that's because you're playing games that aren't fun to stream necessarily. So it's cool when you can figure out a way to like do it as a group, I guess.
Or if you can provide interesting commentary, I think that makes it like something.
And it's not fun to watch.
Commentary adds so much to it.
Oh yeah. And I'm not,
or just the intrigue of tuning in to watch a guy play a game and he's been awake for 3 days, or just something really crazy is happening. It's like the Twitch plays Pokemon phenomenon.
Oh yeah.
Eventually everybody just caught on and they were just there, and they would just like they leave for a couple hours and they'd come back and they'd be like, what happened? Oh, the everyone got released.
Well, so
did you hear how Twitch somehow managed to beat Metal Gear Solid Game Boy Color?
No, I didn't even know they were doing games other than Pokemon yet. I knew it was only a matter of time.
Metal Gear Solid Pokemon Color and beat it.
Really?
I have no idea how.
Honestly, about halfway through that first Twitch Plays Pokemon playthrough, they introduced like the Anarchy versus Democracy thing, and that's when I stopped watching because I was like, I liked it better when they were just going around in the rock tunnel for days. It was better, but because it was funny trying to watch people work together through a chat. But anyway, no, I did not hear about the Metal Gear Solid thing.
Yeah, I didn't see any of that either.
Well, now you know.
Yeah, I was about to say, that seems...
Now I know. You can beat it.
I don't know how you play a stealth game with a bunch of idiots on a 30-second delay. That would be...
Yeah, I don't know either.
But Yeah, no, Extra Life is once a year. It's like a big. They do that's, it's a worldwide charity gaming marathon every year in November. That you pledge to play games for 24 hours straight, and then people can donate to your page or whatever, and you can raise money for the hospital of your choice. I don't know. Like I said, I think we're gonna do it on Groovy again this year because we did pretty good last year with it. And
even if I don't participate in the Groovy one, I'm probably gonna do it anyway, just because I want to play. I want an excuse to play games for 24 hours.
I mean, that was 50.
I won't even stream it. I'll just sit in my living room and just play games for 24 hours.
You don't have to. Just I think I only ended up going for 12 because I had worked that morning. And
life.
Yeah, I'm a horrible person. I only went about 12 straight hours.
That darn work thing always gets in the way.
Oh, I was so tired. I about died.
How dare you let work get in the way of charity?
I know.
And playing video games for charity.
I know. I was like, I can't play Costume Quest 2 anymore. I got to go to bed. Or whatever the hell I was playing.
I could probably convince my job to do it because, it's a game job. So, I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
Hey, I'm playing games for No, probably not.
I don't know.
Heartless Corporation.
We're not giving up our money.
Oh man, it's too bad we're not talking about EA or Activision or Ubisoft because then that would have been a perfect segue for Heartless Corporation.
Oh man, yeah, those.
Yeah.
It is fun though to do those.
So Peter, thank you for joining us on the playground today.
No, thanks.
Thanks
for having me.
The playground of old men that complain about things.
Oh, I love it. I feel like I fit in with the old man thing.
You definitely do. And the way you were rambling early on in the show, I was going to make a comment. I'm like, you're totally the perfect type of old man that we need for this show.
Great.
So I don't know.
I think
Maybe
one
we'll
of the
have
big things that showed to me just how much of an old man Peter is when he said, "Back in the day."
Oh, well, back in the day is a classic
as
old
soon as
man.
he said that, I knew it was a good fit.
In my day, I know, Piddle, you watched my game collection video, right? Did you count how many times I said "back in the day"? I think I may have said it more than we said the word Pele in the E3 rap show.
That's
It
funny.
should almost be there should almost always be a counter in every episode for how many times we say
A
back
certain
in the
phrase,
day
or back in the day,
yeah, in my
or
day,
these
something like
these
that.
kids these days.
No, I actually watched
These
your video
kids
too,
these
Spiegel.
days.
You watched it too?
I was very excited. I was like, oh, I have a shelf just like this.
My shelf isn't as impressive as yours though. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
except Peter had like 5 more extra shelves.
Yeah.
They're all packed in boxes.
Well, shoot, I bought so many games for my birthday, man. I went crazy. It was so bad they renamed it the shopping spree phrase in the ZBN chat. They started calling it a shaping spree. So, so they replaced the word shop with my name. I don't know. But the point is I bought a lot of games for my birthday. So now I'm kind of quenched in terms of needing to buy the games. I don't really have that bug right now. So I'm playing Phoenix Wright like 10 minutes at a time, and I'm never going to finish it.
You'll get there.
What are you guys playing right now?
I've been playing Majora's Mask 3D quite a bit.
Yeah!
I know.
Can we talk about that?
I know this is your favorite game of all time almost.
That is correct. No, it is officially my number one right now. It might change later.
And so
Oh wow!
I played the 64 version. Never finished it though because I don't think I got it when I was I don't remember how old I was. I was a teenager and I don't know. It seemed weird to me just coming straight off of Ocarina, so I never played it back then. And my brother let me borrow his 3DS version of it fairly recently, and no, I'm super enjoying it. It is really good. I feel bad that I never gave it a chance back in the day because it is.
There it is, back in the day.
Yeah, exactly. Back
Waiting
in the day.
for it.
I feel like a lot of people feel the exact same way as you.
Well, it's kind of it's got this weird feeling to me of it sort of overwhelms me with the amount of stuff that you can do, but at the same time I know going through it, just playing, I'm like, I don't really have to do any of this. If I really wanted to, all I'd have to do is just go play all, the 4 main dungeons, and you could pretty much get through this game. But like, there's just so much cool stuff to do in the game, and I mean, I really like the notebook system that keeps track of everything for. I don't know, it's much more novel than a normal quest log that you get in your standard whatever RPG anymore these days. And
if I could, I would say that, like, not only is it cool that you realize you don't really have to do everything, But I feel like part of the game is just realizing that not only do you not have to do everything, but you just kind of end up doing things.
Yeah.
It's kind of like in a Skyrim type
do.
game where you get so distracted and sucked into the game.
Oh yeah, totally.
It was kind of like the granddaddy of those types of games, in my opinion. I can't really think of a game before it that you really just kind of got lost in something that wasn't the story. I mean, how often did that happen?
Yeah.
All the time. I think
No,
every
you're
once
wrong.
in a while, though, you get...
Name it. Name a game that before Majora's Mask that did that.
Oh, other than Majora's Mask? Nothing.
What do you mean all the time? What are you referring to?
I'm sorry, I was thinking Majora's Mask still.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, that was awkward. This is effortless.
No, I mean, about the only other thing that's ever really... I did that with Final Fantasy VI, sort of had the... I would fall into... That was more like leveling up and doing stupid crap. So, yeah, no, this is... like I said, it's just very... It's just... The thing I love about it is it's so different from every other Zelda game you'll ever play. I mean, you'll just... Nothing... It just... It has the standard Zelda formula, but at the same time, like it deviates from it quite a bit too. You know what I mean? That's just...
I hate how people don't want to give it a chance because it's like Ocarina of Time is the be-all, end-all.
Yeah, Ocarina is, you know...
It's hard to get
It's
into,
good.
admittedly.
It
Like,
is,
even when
but
I first started playing it, I didn't really really start to enjoy it until maybe 2 weeks into the month that it took me to beat it.
it's funny because you can't really play it the same way that you play Ocarina of Time, you know? Like, and I was trying to explain this to my wife, who liked Ocarina of Time and Wind Waker, and she was just going through it, and she's like, I don't get why this is so good. I'm like, because you're playing it the wrong way. It's one of those games that you can actually play it the right way and the wrong way.
No, I agree.
I feel like.
I agree. You know, and I was just saying this the other day, you know, it kind of sucks that, you know, nothing you do is, not nothing, but most of what you do isn't permanent. You know, like you go and you beat a temple, you know, and everything goes back to normal or whatever, wherever you beat
The other
that.
cool thing, you can replay entire dungeons.
Exactly.
If you like them.
But then it's kind of, it is sort of a bummer when you're like, oh, I beat all this. Okay, the Gorons are happy. They're not in ice or under ice anymore. And then you reset time and you go back to it like, oh, they're back in, you know, it's frozen again. I mean, that part kind of, I don't know why that gave me a little bit of a bummer that nothing's permanent. But otherwise, like I said, it's
One of the things that sort of bums
Very
me out
good.
is it's impossible to do or to make everybody happy in the game in just like the 3-day time frame.
I think
It
that's
is-
one of the coolest things about the game, and it kind of reflects real life. It's like, you know, if you're going to help people, you still can't help everybody, like, permanently.
yeah.
That's a
And
good point.
that was always a really cool reflection on life to me. It's like you make choices. You know, if you take any random 3-day period of your life and you say like, I'm going to do these things during this day, like if you go back and change stuff, it's like, oh, what would be different? It's kind of like you know, the movie Groundhog Day, which unironically is probably one of my favorite movies ever too.
Agreeing.
Not just
agreeing with
because
you
of Bill,
wholeheartedly.
not just because of Bill Murray's excellence, you know, but anyway, it's a very, there's a lot of depth in that game, man. You can apply it to so much like real life stuff, deep stuff, man.
Yeah, I'm probably, I don't know. I'm probably about halfway through it at this point, so I'm gonna keep going. It's good.
I'm not gonna spoil the end for you. I mean, there's not really much to be spoiled.
Yeah.
It's just like it's like, you know, spoiler at the end of Super Mario Galaxy, Mario saves Peach.
Right. No,
on
I
the
mean,
way. So.
I know it's gonna happen, but that doesn't matter. It's the journey that matters.
Truer words have never been spoken.
Okay, well, I think that's a good place to stop, so we're going to stop now. Thank you all for listening to this crazy crossover show. I think it would be... I know we said in the past, Piddle, no guests, but I think this was a very well-used guest to break that rule, you know what I mean?
It wasn't a guest.
Yeah,
It was
I'm like a half guess.
Groovertless.
Oh, there you go.
What? What did you call it?
A Groovertless.
I called it the effort cast, I think it was. That doesn't really make any sense. Although, admittedly, none of them make any sense. Grooveless just sounds like we're lame guys who can't dance.
Yeah.
Actually, I like that more. Can we be
Actually, it fits. So,
Grooveless cast?
Nice. That is good.
Grooveless cast.
Well, no, I appreciate you guys letting me come on and crash your show.
There was no crashing of anything. I thought it went fairly well. So, I mean, it might. You know, we don't have the chemistry together. Yeah, even including me and you, Peter, because we haven't really done too many shows together. But we don't really have the group chemistry. But I still think it went well.
Yeah.
So, so again, thank you for coming on. Thank you to
Yes,
Piddle
thank
for
you.
putting up with all the crap that I say every single week. Thank you to all of you for listening to our stupid shows, and tell your friends, because we've had 611 subscribers for like a month and a half now. What are you guys doing? This is the part of the show where I accuse the listeners.
Yeah.
Everything you're doing is wrong. We're right.
Yeah, you guys suck. Also, shout out to my Twitter followers, because you guys do a great job. You kill it every single week, liking all of my tweets obsessively. So keep up the good work, everybody. You can find me on Twitter at Spiegelwii, SPIGELGELWII. Peter, where can they find you?
You can go to Groovy if you want to, or I'm also on Twitter at I have a real original one, Peter Corsaro, Corsaro. That's
All right.
my name. I can't hide.
And Piddle, we can find you at the Old Man Retirement Home, because you don't have Twitter.
Exactly. What is this Twitter thing anyway?
It's a bird. There's a little bird.
Yeah.
I don't like birds.
It's blue.
I like how like one of my favorite things, just as a final topic of discussion, I like how old people are always like they always, it seems like they purposely misinterpret things that you say about the internet. Like you'll say, "Oh yeah, I was doing this on Facebook," and then like a minute later they'll reference it as like book face or something. Like it almost is on purpose, as if they're just trying to rib you about like doing something that's new and technological.
See, I find the opposite. I find that more old people use Twitter than I do.
Really? Yeah,
Yes.
I'm in like most of them seem like they use Facebook. Like my parents are more on the Facebook thing than.
Yeah, because they finally caught up.
Yeah.
You know, 5 years
Yeah,
later.
for them it's like 2001 all over again. Or was it 3? I don't even remember.
Yeah, I think I got on
2000
it. 2002 is when I think I got on it.
What, on Facebook?
Yeah.
What really?
Yeah, I was in college in 2002.
Didn't it start in like no? I think you're misrepresenting yourself, sir. I don't think Facebook was around back then.
Oh, it definitely. I was a sophomore or junior in college when it happened. I remember because they only let people with .edu addresses on for like the first couple year or the first year or two of it.
Oh wow! So you're talking about the real beginnings.
I'm pretty sure I actually got on there when it was thefacebook.com. Like I don't think they had facebook.com yet. I think. I mean, I don't know if that's showing me. I'm only 30.
Seeing 2004 February.
But really, that's when you got on, or that's when it started? Let's see.
That's what Wikipedia says, and we all know that Wikipedia is right.
No, that might be right.
Wikipedia is king.
So that would have been okay. I would have been a junior in college that year. Then does that make sense?
All right. Well, since we're all getting dementia, I think it's a good time to end the show. Thanks to everybody for listening, and I don't know. Me and Pitt will be back for a regular Effortless, and me and Jess will be back for a regular Groovcast. So keep listening to me, or not. I don't know.
Nope. Keep listening.
For Peter and Piddle and Dr. Spiegelwii, this is Spiegelwii with them.
That is the best outro I think I've ever heard.
That was beautiful.
Check out Groovy.com for all your obsessive collecting needs. Groovy.com, it's good reads for games. Subscribe to the ZB Network on YouTube for all your obsessive listening to old men talk about how gaming used to be better needs. Don't forget, every time you listen to Space Pirate Radio on the ZB Network, we donate $100 to the Cancel Metroid Prime Federation Force Kickstarter. You can make a difference!